Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Internet world. This is Derrick Supan here with Edwin Gomez, and we're part of the Auto Merch Talk. It's a podcast that we talk about automotive stuff because we're in the field of taking pictures of cars. So the topics are based around that. So today's topic is going to be about the shortage of chips in the automotive industry world and how has it impacted the economy and consumers. Okay? So Edwin, what can you tell us a little bit about the chip shortage? I didn't realize it was such a big deal until I started doing some research.
Yeah, me neither. It's a pretty big deal. It's these chips are used in everything from toothbrushes, toasters, PS5s,
Right.
and vehicles. So we're discussing how it's impacting the
Industry.
the car business, the
Right.
car industry, but it is actually impacting just everybody across the board right now.
Right.
They say the shortage can last anywhere between till 2022 to 2023.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. So now what's happening is a lot of these manufacturers, let's say like BMW, Ford, and Volkswagen, they say they have these bottlenecks where they can't get their cars made or whatever it is because these chips, they're not able to get the chips.
Right.
So they had to slow down manufacturing new cars.
Right. I've also heard that they're just trying to make the cars that are more profitable. For example, right now in the United States, SUVs and pickup trucks
Yes.
are the number ones.
Yes, the cars that are selling more and the cars that
Right.
are...
So whatever chip they had in their stockpile, I guess they're using those for the more important vehicles.
For the more important vehicles, for the vehicles that consumers, look at or buy more,
Right.
things like that. But that has created some sort of vacuum where now more people are looking for used cars.
That means the used car market is going up.
The used car market has gone up. It is actually, you have used cars that are worth more money than they were before.
Right.
I mean,
So
at least I
technically-
don't ever remember that happening.
Technically, right now is a good time to trade your used car if you have a
To
car.
trade in your used car,
But
yep.
bad time to buy because prices are going up because it's in demand right now.
Because you're right. You're right.
Technology is not in the cars.
Technology is not...
It's amazing what a small little piece of metal or plastic
so small.
that you don't even see it. It's not even visible, but yet it makes part of that whole vehicle, whatever we use, cell phones, computers, laptops.
Microphones probably in here. They're probably in the
Everything's
camera.
got something in them, and it's amazing how it took a toll. And that happened because of COVID. I remember it happened because of COVID.
Yeah,
right?
because it slowed it down, and then they were...
So when they first hit the automotive industry, I guess it went down to about 36 to 40% in
Yeah.
sales.
Mm-hmm.
So they stopped production of that chip. Then the people staying at home, working from home, started having to get computers, cameras and all that stuff to do their Zoom meetings and all that stuff. So manufacturers stopped producing for cars and started producing for
all the electronics that were needed due to COVID
just so
and
you know,
people working
right.
at home. Yeah.
all the chips are not the same. So every chip that manufacturers make, they're all custom made for a certain application. PS5,
Correct,
or,
correct.
GMC or Nissan, they all
Whatever
have
it might be,
specific
yeah.
chip.
So it's not like they can make the one chip and just spread it out. They
Right.
literally have to say, okay, today we're making chips for
So
GM
right.
or whatever.
So when that happened in COVID-19, they stopped production of the car. Then car sales started going back up because people started to go back out, and they weren't prepared.
Yeah, because then the demand was ridiculously high.
It was too high.
Yeah, because they just got flooded. And that's another thing. I mean, don't want to get off kind of subject, but the economy, the way it is, people are still buying cars.
Right.
People are still buying cars. A lot of our dealers out there are doing really well.
Some dealers say they've had the best month so far.
Their best, and during COVID, their best months ever.
Right.
They've had during COVID.
That's just crazy.
That's yeah. That shows you the importance.
So how bad do you think the car industry got hit? From our research here, it says it could cost the industry up to $60 billion. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. What they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out when they'll be able to catch back up. There's a couple of companies, like I said, out there saying that they're going to open up.
IBM, right?
No, Intel actually.
Intel.
Intel announced in March that it was going to spend $20 billion on 2 new factories.
Wow.
In Arizona. Now the problem with that is still going to take a couple of years, 2 to 3 years to
Just
get
to
that
build them
actually off the ground. Yeah.
It's a lot of work that goes into making these little chips.
There is a lot of work.
It's not just, let me just make a plastic and metal chip. No, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Because like you said, everything is made for the product.
It's customized, yeah.
So whether it be to spin something so your toothbrush vibrates to your GPS, let's say.
Or the temperature sensor in your car.
Whatever it can be.
Every application is different. And there's more that goes into it too. There are three leading semiconductor companies right now. It's Intel, it's USA, and Samsung, it's in Japan, and you have TSMC, which is in Taiwan. TSMC, I believe a lot of companies use them a lot. Even Intel uses them to make some of their chips as well.
And for just different electronics, phones, computers.
Right, everything, right. And it goes to show you only 3 companies in the world right now, well, top leading 3 companies to provide for the world. That's a lot of chips to provide for the world. So what do you think is going to be done other than create more plants to create those?
Well, first of all, what they're trying to do is they're trying to change different things. They're saying that the demand for the chips and PCs and computers and personal computers, those are actually going to that'll be softened up a bit because most people that needed to buy equipment have already bought it.
Right.
So that's kind of what we got to see. What they got to start softening up on one, and then they pick up on another.
Right. Because you got plants that actually furlough, a bunch of their employees because they have to shut down because they can't produce.
Yep. Because they can.
So it's affecting jobs too, and it's affecting the economy in certain ways.
I mean, most people are saying is, minimum of 2 years. The average is what I'm hearing that this is going to be going on for like 2 years.
Right.
So for those people that have these big used car lots and stuff like that, I mean, they should be doing well. I'm just thinking that after a while,
well, people are holding their cars more now because of
people are holding their cars more longer. And not to get off subject, but what do you think about this gas thing that's going on now?
I think people are over panicking.
Because we're here in Florida, and
there are gas lines.
The other day, last night, I thought I was at a traffic light, and I was actually on a line for the gas station by mistake.
I was wondering too because there's no hurricanes coming yet.
There's no.
And you see gas lines.
No, and they're saying that this is going to be over like in 3 or 4 days because the gas is there.
The gas
is just
there.
Locked up.
Right.
So this is a different situation. This is like
people hoarding gas.
Yeah.
Like put them in plastic bags, put them in their tubs.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it.
Florida, we like to.
Yeah, we like to over panic.
Yeah.
Over prepare, I guess.
Toilet paper and gas.
So can you imagine such a small chip could cause such an effect?
Such an effect. It's like a ripple.
Even companies that make their own chips, like for example, Apple makes their new M1 chip. It's an A14 Bionic chip. They make those, but these are still manufactured in TSMC. So they still have to get them overseas.
So they still have to get them overseas.
They design them. They do everything before, but when it gets manufactured somewhere else.
Nissan to make 500,000 fewer cars in 2021 due to chip shortage. Wow, that's scary. Japanese car maker Nissan is planning to make 500,000 fewer vehicles in 2021 as the global chip shortage continues to wreak havoc on the automotive industry.
So it's hurting the automotive industry really bad.
It is. Ford, Volkswagen have also warned that their production lines could see further hits as a result of the semiconductor crisis. Everybody's just going. These used cars. I think this is going to be the business right now.
Right, used cars.
It's going to be the business
if you can find them.
Exactly, because that's what I was going to say. If the market gets flooded with everybody buying used cars, I almost want to say eventually there's not going to be many used cars left.
No.
Almost like how the properties are right now.
Right.
The properties are so high in demand that the few that are out there,
there's not enough.
And the few that are out there, you can ask for all the money,
right,
and more.
That's true what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see people asking more money for their house.
Yeah, I see that happening eventually with vehicles if it keeps going the way it goes.
Well, they said that people are paying more for vehicles compared to last year. An average of $40,000.
40. Yes, I did see that. 40 to 45,000 is the average.
People are spending more.
They are, because again, SUVs, bigger vehicles. These vehicles have so much more technology nowadays. Obviously, they're more expensive, and
a lot of families use those too. Yeah, SUVs are big.
Yep.
I couldn't go back to a sedan after being in an SUV. Being used to all that space, you can't go back to being a sedan. When I see a family of 4 in a sedan, I'm like, how do they do it?
I have a bigger sedan. I drive an Altima, and I'm by myself, and I still feel
Right. You still feel like it's
yeah,
cramped
yeah,
up,
yeah.
right?
Like it's almost cramped up.
So these chips have not only affected the automotive industry, but it's affected other industries as well. Because I remember when there was a shortage of PS5s, right?
PS5s, yes. Also because of the chip shortage. I'm actually reading that, guys. Sorry if I'm looking away.
But you know, when talking to me about something about Sega, also Sega versus Nintendo, back then there was a chip shortage as well.
Well, it wasn't a chip shortage. What happened was there was a manufacturer that did the chips for like the gaming. I heard this in a podcast on
okay.
Apple. So there was one manufacturer that was doing the chips for both.
Okay.
So then that caused some type of,
Gotcha.
And then the guy was bouncing back and forth from
Right.
Nintendo to. But at the end of the day, what they actually ended up doing was another manufacturer opened up, and that's how
Right.
they were able to. The chip shortage is also the reason why the PS5s, when they first came out, they were really scarce. People were paying top dollar for them.
Right.
That's actually because of the chips. So
Okay.
they had to slow down. So what they did was, I guess they kind of they went from market to market. So the PS5 wasn't important at this point. Now we're going through COVID. Let's get them into the personal computers and the things, and because they needed to kind of
Right.
cater to what was going on.
What was the demand of the consumer?
Exactly. So they kind of put the PS5 on hold. They were still making chips for very minimal.
Right.
And they just started doing PCs and different things that were needed for that time
Right.
period. Which is now why they're switching over, and now we need to switch over back into the vehicles,
Right.
into the car thing, and they're just caught up in everything else that they're doing.
They put the car industry in the back of the line.
They did. Well, I guess maybe not in the back of the line, but maybe there was a list to where, okay, we got to do this, and once
Right.
we do this, we do the next. And
Okay.
But the car manufacturers also, I believe they need a lot more.
A lot more than they can.
Yeah,
produce.
because let's just say
Right.
PlayStation 5, I'm making 1 million PlayStation 5s.
Right.
One manufacturer, one franchise, let's say Ford. Ford
Right.
can make 1 million vehicles in God knows when.
Right.
So it's definitely needed a lot more in the vehicles.
Wow. Yeah, because it's not only one chip. There's a chip for literally
There's
everything.
a chip for everything. They're made, like you said before. They're custom made to the vehicle or what you want that vehicle to do,
Right.
depending on what it is.
Wow. It's amazing. Such a small little thing.
I have an interesting question. You think that affects EV vehicles?
Probably because they do have to have the
They
same
have
chip.
to have the
Right.
same sort of chip. And that might be a problem for GM because GM wanted to roll out all these EV, by the end of the
Right.
year or whatever it was.
It's not gonna happen.
It's definitely not going to happen now.
No.
Wow. Didn't think about that one.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. Talking about chips. If you guys know anything more, comment below. Let us know what other topics you guys would like us to talk about. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And until next time.
Hope you enjoyed it.